Welcome to my presentation on popular scams and how to avoid them. My name is George Dillman, and I'm the Consumer Outreach Specialist with the Pennsylvania Department of Banking and Securities. So every day people get scammed out of thousands of dollars by professionals looking to separate them from their hard-earned money. This presentation will introduce common scams, what to look for, and how to avoid them. But first, did you know, according to the FTC, consumers reported losing more than $3.3 billion to fraud in 2020, up from $1.8 billion in 2019. It's huge. It's getting huge. It continues to grow. We have to be more and more careful with what's going on out there and who we talk to, who we respond to, so on and so forth. This is what we're going to be talking about today: top scams and what to watch for, how to avoid scams and protect yourself, and resources and where to go for help. But first, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. We all know this. It never hurts to remind ourselves every so often. We get that great opportunity that comes along, and again, it's just too good to be. And we before we even think, we jump on it and end up losing hundreds or thousands of dollars. So we have to be careful. Have to be careful. All right, so we have our scams, our popular scams, divided into categories. And the first category that we're going to look at is what we term as the heartstring scams. Scams that tug at our hearts. The story elicits an emotional connection that the scam artist uses to convince us to give up our money. And we're going to take a look at the top three in that category: romance scams, charity scams, and relative and distress scams. Common themes that they all have: there's an instant connection, there's a trust or buy-in, and there's some type of an emergency. Funds are needed, and they're needed right away. So we're going to take a look at the romance scams first. Two articles I read talked about how the romance scam is the largest money-making scam in 5 states, including the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And it's all about using the dating sites. And whether it's us using the dating sites or people that we know, we have to be aware, because again, largest money-making scam in Pennsylvania. What are signs of a romance scam? Someone that you just met falls madly in love with you. That person has an emergency and no access to money. They want you to talk on a less public forum, like a private email or phone or text messages. What happens is somebody goes on and onto one of the dating sites and builds a profile. Not long after they build a profile, somebody reaches out. Hey, I saw your profile. I love your look and this and that, and I think we have a lot in common. And it's like an instant connection. We have all this in common, instant connection. By the way, with a romance scam, the person that reaches out to us is never right down the street or in the next town, where we could go meet someplace halfway between, have a cup of coffee, have a chat, and see if this is a true connection for us. This person is always in another state, or what's popular now is they're in another country. Maybe in one of those digital nomads, supposedly, living in another country, doing work online for the next 6 months, or I'm working overseas on a government contract, or I'm doing volunteer work overseas, or I'm in the military. I'm overseas for some reason, but in the next 6 to 8 months or X number of months, I'm coming back and I'm going to be with my new romantic partner, so to speak. So instant connection. And it's not long after that they try to get the person to switch from that more public platform to a more private platform. Private emails, text messages, so on and so forth. They want to stay under the radar. They get them to do that. Few exchanges of information, and that person falls madly in love with you. Oh, you're the person I've been looking for my whole life. You're the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. I'm in love with you. So now, now I fall in love with them, and now we have this emotional connection. We're in a relationship. We've never met face to face, but we're in a relationship. And then it's not long after that the emergency happens, and they need funds, and they need them right away. And as their new romantic partner, you're the only one that can help them. They get the person to fall for it. They send money, and then not long after, and then usually what happens is they'll come back. There are scams out there that, in fact, a lot of scams can be known as reload scams. Reload scam, that scam artist keeps coming back, coming back, coming back. I kind of equate it to somebody who likes to fish. I like to fish. I find a good fishing hole. I catch a lot of fish. Next time I want to fish, where do I go? Back to the same fishing hole, right? And I keep going back until they stop biting or it's all fished out. And it's the same thing with these scams. Romance scam is a good example of that because they get you the first time to send that money and there's a promise, oh, don't worry, honey, when I'm back home in a couple months, I'll pay you that money back and then we're going to be together. But then a couple weeks later, there's another emergency or something else comes up and they need more money. And then more money is sent. And then a couple weeks later, and they'll just keep doing it. Again, just like with the fishing hole, until they stop biting, until they realize it's a scam and they stop, or they're all fished out. Some of these hardcore cases, people get taken for their entire life savings, thinking at one point they're going to be together, they're going to get their money back, and they're going to live happily ever after. So we got to be careful with that. We have to be careful. How do we avoid a romance scam? Copy their picture to a search engine. You get the picture, right? Copy that picture into a search engine like Google search and do a search on the picture. And if that picture comes up in a number of different places, like for ads and things like that, well, then you know it's a stock. It's not an actual photo of that person. It's a stock photo that's been used here, there, and everywhere for different things. It's not a real photo. It probably guaranteed it's not a real person. Search their name, see if there's anything about them online. And bottom line, don't send any money or other valuables to someone you have not met in person. We haven't met in person yet, and I'm sending it. We don't want to do that. Moving on to charity scams. And there's basically two types of first of all, there's a number of charities out there people like to give money to. There's some that I like to give to, but there's legitimate charities, but there's also fake charities out there that we have to be aware of. And with the fake charities, they'll do one of two things. They might create a charity that sounds very close to an actual charity. Give to the United Your Way Fund, not the United Way, United Your Way Fund, but it sounds so close. I might think, oh, United Way, yeah, I give to them all the time, and you're handing over money without even thinking about it. Or somebody else is coming in, or they create a whole new charity. Something, again, that tugs at our heartstrings. The United Disabled Homeless Veterans of America USA Fund. Please give to those who gave their lives to serve our, oh my God, how can I not give to that charity? So we want to be careful. We need to check these charities out before we give anything to them. What are signs of a charity scam? They're unwilling to send information about the charity in writing. And this is probably one thing that I would do that, we could do is say, hey, I'm sorry, I get the phone call about giving to this charity, or maybe an email, or maybe in person, I get approached. Hey, I'm sorry, I don't do anything until I see something in writing. Guaranteed, if it's a scam, they don't have anything in writing. It's a fake charity. It's a scam, so they don't have anything in writing. So they're unwilling to either give us or send anything in writing because they don't have it. The phone number they're calling from is different from the one that that's posted on the internet, maybe posted on a website. They earnestly push you to send money right away. And again, it's all about catching us off guard. We're not thinking straight, and we're handing the money over before we even have a chance to think about it. So we got to be careful with that. How to avoid a charity scam? Search the name of the charity on the Pennsylvania Department of State's database. Pennsylvania Department of State has a database of legitimate charities operating in the Commonwealth. Check it out before we give anything to them. Go to the Department of State's website and check it out. Never send money without first confirming its authenticity. Again, we want to make sure these are legitimate charities. Do a Google search on that charity. And after you type in the name, type in scams, complaints, or both, and see if anything pops up. Ask questions like how much of my donation goes to the organization. Know that it's never 100%. We've all heard those stories about these legitimate charities out there, how much of our money doesn't really actually go to the cause that we're giving it to. But on the flip side, 100% of it shouldn't be going to that actually going to that cause. I mean, every charity has overhead, right? They've got things to pay for, marketing to pay for, the buildings, rent to pay for, people, salaries to pay. So if they tell you 100% of what you're giving is actually going towards that cause, another big red flag. So be careful with the charities. All right, family member in distress scam, sometimes known as the grandparent scam. And there can be different variations of this. We're going to talk about the one that's mainly used, but again, there could be different variations of this. Family member in distress or friend in distress. My father got an email one day from a friend of his. Him and his wife got an email from a friend of theirs who was in Europe on vacation, lost his plane ticket back home, lost all of his money. He emailed them asking if they could wire money to this place, $800, whatever it was, so that he could buy a plane ticket and had money to get back home. They were about ready to do it before my father said, well, wait a second, let's give him a call first. And sure enough, they give him a call. Where's he at? He's nowhere near Europe. He's sitting at home watching television. Apparently somebody hacked into his email and got his entire email contact list, and everybody on that list got this email supposedly from him. And unfortunately, some of the people sent the money before they even had a chance to even did what my father did and check to make sure whether it was legit or not. So we got to be careful. Signs of a family member in distress scam: your family member calls with an emergency, or friend in that case, or emails. They want you to send money, usually by wire or gift card, and they swear you to secrecy. Well, let's not tell anybody else about this, especially with the grandparent scam, what we're going to talk about now. That variation of it, which is the most popular. I get a phone call at home. Grandpa, it's me. A lot of times they don't give a name because they don't have a name. Johnny, is that you? Yeah, they wait for you to give a name. Johnny, is that you? Yeah, Grandpa, it's me, Johnny. Well, gee, son, it doesn't sound like you. That's because I was in an accident. My nose is broke. That's why I sound funny. I'm in Georgia with a group of friends of mine. And this is just like the romance scam. With this scam, the person is never right down the road or in the next town where you could go help them directly. They're always in another state, or like with my father, in another country. I'm in Georgia with a group of friends of mine, and we were in an accident. I was driving. And the cops say the accident was my fault, and they put me in jail, and I need $1,000 bail to get out. Grandpa, can you please send it? Can you send it right away? I'm in here with a lot of bad people. I don't want to be in this jail. I want to get out, and please don't tell my parents about it. Let's just keep it between. And that's kind of how the grandparent scam. And the woman, grandparents, oh my God, my Johnny, I got to get that money down there, and they send the money before they even think. Chances are Johnny's at home, watching TV or out with his friends or doing what teenagers do, nowhere near Georgia. So how do we avoid, that type of scam? Maybe ask questions only your grandchild would know. Hey, Johnny, is your dog Spot with you? Is Spot okay? Oh, yeah, don't worry, Grandpa. His Spot's okay. Better luck next time. You don't have a dog named Spot. Or you ask them, you ask them questions only your grandchild would know and would be able to answer. I had a lady who said, I got the grandparent scam, and she knew right away it was a scam because she said, everybody calls me Grammy, not Grandma. Why is this person calling me Grandma? Call the family member back on another number, a number that maybe you can see if you can put this person on hold. Hey, Johnny, I got something boiling over on the stove. Let me put you on hold for a minute. I'll get right back to you. Put them on hold. Who do you call? You call Johnny with the number that you have for Johnny, and probably confirm Johnny's at home or with his buddies or whatever, nowhere near Georgia. We're okay. And we can also do not answer calls from unknown numbers. I think a lot of us have caller ID now, or we should have caller ID. Let it go to voicemail. If it's important enough, they'll leave a message. We can get back to them. All right, moving on to banking scams. Scams around financial institutions center around attempts to access our deposit accounts. Once you sign your name to a check, you may be on the hook for the loss, so we got to be careful. Top 3 in this category are counterfeit checks, pay upfront scams, and overpayment of items purchase scams. Common themes: they appear authentic, they build on trust, there's an immediate action that is required. Now, the two of these scams, the counterfeit checks and the overpayment of items purchase scams, are essentially the same. They might be a little bit different depending on the situation, but essentially the same thing. We're going to look at those together. We're going to look at those first. Signs of a counterfeit check scam. You were not expecting a check. You received a check from someone you do not know. The check is written for more than it was supposed to be written for. I always explain this one with a scenario. I say I'm selling a car. I'm selling a used car. I'm selling it on Craigslist for $8,000. Somebody responds to the ad, "Oh my God, this is the exact car I'm looking for. It's the same make, model, year, color, mileage, everything. Can you hold the car for me? I want the car. I'm buying it. I'm going to send you the old-fashioned check." Okay. So a couple of days later, I get the check, and the check's written out for too much money. Rather than $8,000, it's written out for $10,000. I either reach out to them or they reach out to me, and maybe the story goes, "Oh, gee, I'm sorry. I was looking at several cars. I sent you a check for too much money. I'll tell you what, rather than waiting for me to send another check out, why don't you just go ahead and deposit that check? Go ahead, just put it in the bank, deposit it. But could you wire back the extra $2,000? I could really use that money back right away." Person falls for it. I think we all know where we're going with this, right? Person falls for it. They wire transfer the $2,000 back. And then a week or so later, when the check doesn't clear because it's a fake check, they're now out $2,000. So we got to be careful with that. We got to be careful with the counterfeit check or overpayment, with the check scam. How to avoid a counterfeit check scam? Don't accept a check from someone you do not know. Verify the information with the institution it is written on. And at the very least, maybe we've already deposited the check. Maybe I've already deposited the check and I get that call, to wire back some of the money. You know what? Hey, sure, I'll wire back that money the minute that check clears and I have that money in the account. Then I'll wire back the extra $2,000 or something like that. But be careful with that. Pay upfront scam. There's several versions of this. We're going to cover three of them. Signs of a pay upfront scam. In order to get a prized loan or some other payment, you must pay fees. Promise that the upfront fee is fully refundable if you're not 100% satisfied. Yeah. You receive the request from someone you do not know or have no connection to. Again, there's a couple different variations. We're going to cover three of them. You get a prize. I'm going to the lottery scam is the traditional international lottery scam. I get a phone call. "I've won this lottery, Rachel, for millions of dollars. This lottery I never even knew that I entered. Millions and millions of dollars. And all I need to do to secure those millions is pay some upfront fees and taxes. $800, $1,000. Once I pay the upfront fees, those millions are going to be released." And we know that that's the scam, right? There are no millions. It's all about getting us, for that money. And this is another good example of a reload scam because it's been done with this scam. So I pay that $1,000, in fees and taxes I need to pay, and maybe the follow-up to that, I get a phone call again a week later. "Oh, Mr. Dillman, I really apologize. I mentioned those fees and taxes, but there was some additional fees that I forgot about. So you're going to need to send us another check for $500 to pay those. But once we get that check for $500, those millions are going to be released." So I send the next check. And then a week or so later, there's another reason, and they'll just keep going, just like the fishing hole story. They'll keep going until we realize it's a scam. We stop biting, or we're all fished out. Again, people that have given away their entire life savings because they knew with that next check that they were going to send, those millions were going to come rolling in. So we got to be careful with that and warn family and friends about this type of scam that's out there. Popular with seniors. The loan. I need to borrow money. I need to borrow $25,000 or $30,000. I need maybe some major repairs done to my house, but my credit isn't good. I have bad credit. not a lot of loan companies are going to touch me on this, but there's one company out there, maybe they reach out to me, or I see a pop-up ad someplace or whatever, and I reach out to them, bad credit, no credit, we don't care. We're going to give you the loan. Wow, this is great. So I reach out, and of course, they okay me for the loan. Now, in order to receive the loan, though, once again, I need to pay something up front. Maybe I need to pay at least part of that interest up front, whatever whatever it is, $800, $1,000. I pay that. It's all going to get processed in a couple of weeks. I'm going to get that loan. A couple of weeks later, nothing happens. I can't even contact the company anymore. It was a scam. I'm now out $800, $1,000, whatever they can get from me. There's also one with contractors. There's a number of variations of the contracting scam. The one that I'll use is, I'm working out my yard, doing some work, and work truck pulls up. Guy pulls up in a work truck, name of the company on the side of the truck, Joe's Contracting Service. And, work truck, the rack is in the back, the ladders are up top, there's some equipment in the back, some material in the back. And maybe the story goes, hey, how you doing? We're doing some work. We're repaving, resurfacing driveways for two of your neighbors a couple blocks over. And I'm just driving around, see if anybody else could use that type of work. And it looks like your driveway could use resurfacing. Well, I'm not really looking into that right now. Well, I'll tell you what, since we're already in the neighborhood and we have extra material, I can give you a really good price on that. On doing, well, how much will you got? You give a guy gets a price. Wow, that sounds like a great deal. Yeah, I'll get that. What do we, sign the paper. Now, in order to get this deal, though, in order to get this great deal, you need to pay, we need the money up front. I mean, we're giving you a good price on this, but I need to have the money and preferred in cash, okay? Because we don't want to tell Uncle Sam about it. So this is great. I'm going to get this great deal. I run down to the ATM machine, get him the cash. We even do a contract. It looks like a nice, legitimate contract. We sign everything. I give him, hey, don't worry, a couple of days after we're done with those other jobs, we'll be back. I never see the guy again. I can't reach out to him. There's the phone number in his card isn't real. It was all a scam. So we got to be careful with those pay up front scams. How to avoid a pay up front scam? You should never pay cash in order to claim a prize or receive a loan or get work done to our house. Know who you are dealing with. Avoid paying with a gift card or wire transfer. By the way, with the contracting, if I am looking for a contract or somebody to do work in my home, and I don't have somebody that I'm already using, good place to check. Just like I mentioned, the Department of State with the list of charities, the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office has a list of licensed and registered contractors in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So if you're looking for, or somebody approaches you, check them out before you go ahead and use them. Make sure they are a legitimate company, and that's one place that you can do it is with the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office. And like with the charity scam, we can Google the name of the company and type in scams or complaints and do a Google search. Make sure that they're legit that way, ask around, and so on and so forth. Check references. How to avoid bank scams. Be careful about financial transactions with strangers. Do not give change from a check. Remember, you are responsible for all funds you deposit to your account. Moving on to imposter scams. Again, the three top imposter scams: government representative, the technology company, and credit repair scams. Common themes: they appear as a trusted representative. There's an immediate need to get something from you. We're going to start in the middle with the technology company. I don't have a separate slide on that, but very simple. I see a pop-up ad someplace. Maybe I even get an email. Your computer's slow. Hey, we're here to help. We can speed it up. There's also one related to viruses. I'm going to go to the one I think that started this off, and it's still out there, the Microsoft Office scam. I get a phone call from supposedly from a representative from Microsoft Office. That representative, with the finger quotes, tells me I have all these viruses on my computer. And as a representative of Microsoft, they're here to help. For an upfront fee, I give them access to my computer, and they'll go into my computer and eliminate all of these viruses for me. So I fall for it. I pay the upfront fee. I give that person access to my computer, and they go into my computer, and they have control of my arrow. I see my arrow going around. The arrow pulls up this box, and in this box is all these viruses that I supposedly have. And I see my arrow clicking these viruses and eliminating these viruses from my computer. It's a fake box with fake viruses. Best case scenario is I'm paying a fee for something that I'm really not getting. Worst case scenario, because I now gave this person access to my computer, they could be in there stealing things off my computer. Maybe that's why they pull that big box up. They could be in there stealing things off my computer and or planting some malicious software that allows them to go into my computer anytime they want without me knowing about it to steal information. So we have to be careful. Again, pop-up ads or people phoning us, reaching out to us with these services. You know, if we have viruses or there's something wrong with our computer, we need to reach out to somebody. And of course, we're going to make sure it's somebody reputable that can really help us with that. All right, moving on to the government representative scams. These scams pretend to be from a government agency. They claim you will be arrested if you do not comply, something you have to do in order to comply, won't provide information in writing. I think they all started with the IRS scam. I think this was the one that started it off, or it's been around for and still being used. You know, I get a call supposedly from the IRS, a representative from the IRS. Hello, Mr. Dillman. This is Representative John Jones with the IRS. We're doing audits on back 7 years on people, and we've discovered that you owe the IRS for the last 7 years. You've owed the IRS $5,000. And I hate to tell you this, sir, but you need to pay that money today, or and if you don't, I'm going to be forced to send the police out to pick you up and take you to jail. And that's the scam. Oh my God! I mean, how do I get this money to you? And originally it was, you know, they were looking for a wire transfer because instant access. You got the cash instantly. Now, a lot of people catching on to the wire transfer. They want people to go down to their local big box retailer and buy that amount in gift cards, and then read the numbers off the back of those gift cards to them. Why? Because it gives them instant access to the cash that they just, you know, purchased, that they've put on those gift cards. So we got to be careful with that. There was one little different variation. Maybe I get a call from supposedly from Social Security, and maybe they overpaid me $5,000 over the last X number of years. They realize the mistake, but again, I need to make up for it. I need to pay that money back. I need to pay it back today, or they're cutting off my Social Security check. There was one going around because a lot of times scammers will conform their tried and true scam to the latest emergency. And there was one when COVID first started taking off, a lot of places were closing. There was one going around where people who were on Social Security were supposedly getting calls from Social Security reps telling them that due to the COVID virus, all the Social Security offices have shut down. Because of that, all checks have stopped. The systems have shut down. All checks have stopped. Oh my God, what do I do? Well, that's why we're reaching out, Mr. Dillman. That's why we're reaching out to all Social Security recipients, letting them know if they want their checks to continue coming, you're going to need to give us, as a representative, you're going to need to give me all of your information, and I'm going to need to manually put it back into another system, and then that'll guarantee that your checks will continue coming. And then that's the scam. You know, I'm giving them all my personal sensitive information that they can use to steal my identity and then steal from me later. So bottom line is with the government agencies should not be reaching out to us by phone, and especially demanding something right away, either money or personal sensitive information. They're reaching out to us. They're going to do it by letter. We're going to get those letters. We're going to have time to look at those letters, to read them over, call them about it if needed, talk to somebody else. I mean, if it's important enough, maybe talk to a lawyer or whatever, ask her. We're going to have time before we need to respond. We're going to get it in a letter. We're going to have time to respond. We're not going to have to do something right away. How to avoid a government representative scam? Request proof of debt in writing. You know, well, gee, if you're the IRS, you usually send things out in mail. Send me that proof in writing, and then I'll respond to it. Click. Never pay with a gift card or a wire transfer. Tell the caller you'll call them back. Oh, you're with the IRS? You know what? Let me give you a call right back. Hang up the phone, and then you call the IRS, or you call Social Security, or whoever it is, with a verified number that you know is for their office, and probably confirm with them that it was a scam call that you got. All right, and last in this category is credit repair scams. Signs of a credit repair scam: guarantees your credit will go up by definite number of points. They tell you to dispute all negative credit information on your credit report. Once payment up front, before any services are given. You have these scam companies that in fact, they might even find out people who have bad credit. They reach out to them, or again, I see the pop-up ad, or I get an email or whatever. And companies that guarantee that they'll be able to raise my credit score for me. Now, taking a step aside, we're going to talk a little bit about checking our credit reports. We should be checking our credit reports at least once a year. Why? Because if somebody has stolen our ID and is using it against us or not, using it against us, it should be showing up on our credit report somewhere. And we should be able to spot it if we see. So we check our credit reports, and say I check my credit report and there's things on my credit report that I didn't put on there. In the last 2 months, there were 2 credit cards opened in my name that I know I didn't open. There was a loan taken out in my name that I know I didn't do. There was a car purchased in my name that I know I didn't purchase. All this stuff going on that I didn't do. I need to reach out to those 3 main credit report bureaus and first of all, report it to them so they can do an investigation. What do? All those things that I say are not mine on that credit report, they take them off and they do an investigation to confirm whether they are mine or not, or somebody else put them on there. And if somebody else did, maybe even track those people down and bring them to justice for it, so to speak. So and then of course it stays off my report. So what these companies will tell people to do is to reach out to those credit bureaus, and whether it's theirs or not, challenge anything negative on their credit report. Contact the credit bureaus, challenge anything negative on your credit report. They'll take those things off your credit report. They probably even allude to telling them that they'll stay off permanently. If you say that's not yours, they'll take them off. What they probably don't talk about is how, if they realize it is yours, that it'll get put back on your credit report. And we could get in trouble for it because we're disputing something that we know is really ours, and we might get in trouble for it. What do they care? But they tell it, we do this, we challenge it. All those negative things come off our report. What happens to our credit score? Our credit score goes up. Right? Again, what they don't tell us is a couple months later, when they prove that stuff is ours, it all goes right back on our credit report. Our credit score goes right back down, and now we're out however much we paid for this so-called credit repair service. And on top of that, we could get into trouble because we're being fraudsters. We're trying to scam these credit bureaus, so to speak. So we got to be careful with that. We also have to watch these legitimate, I'm doing legitimate with the finger quotes, these companies that we see advertised on television. I did some research and I confirmed what I already knew, that these companies on television, they really can't do much of anything for us or anybody that we may know to help improve our credit scores. And we end up, I know with one company, we end up paying a monthly fee so they can monitor our credit and anything that, bottom line is, and let's take a look down at the bottom. How to avoid credit repair scams. There are no quick fixes for bad credit. If the debt is true, disputing it is fraud and can get you into trouble. We talked about that. Do not pay money for a service that does not really exist. Even with these so-called real credit repair companies, there's really only one person out there that if we have bad credit, that can improve our credit rating and improve our credit score for us. Who is that? That's us. How do we do that? By doing what we need to do to improve our credit scores, paying our bills on time, paying our debt down, and that, of course, improve, and then maybe a few other things helps improve. We're the ones that can repair our credit, nobody else. How to avoid imposter scams. Governments will not call out of the blue demanding money. You are the only one that can repair your credit. It takes time. Tell the caller you will call them back, then call them from a verified number. All right, moving on to virtual scams. These are scams they involve any scam that use the internet and electronic devices to persuade you to give up personally identifying or financial information. Let's start with the phishing, phishing with emails. I get an email from my local bank. Maybe I've gotten emails from my bank before, and they're sending me another email. Customer service at my local bank. Hello, Mr. Dillman. This is customer service at your local bank, at your bank, yourbank.com. The bank is updating its records, and we're reaching out to all of our customers, asking them to confirm all of their information or reconfirm all of their information for us. If you could hit the link below, that'll take you to another page. And when you get to that page, you'll be able to fill in all the information. So I want to help my bank out, make sure they have everything up to date. I hit the link. I go to that page and I fill in my name, my address, my phone number, my social security number, my date of birth, my bank account numbers. How do I really know this is somebody from my bank reaching out to me? They say they're from my bank. I get emails all the time from my bank. The company, the bank's name, the logo, everything is in place as I would normally get it. In this day and age, it's very easy to copy and paste and Photoshop things to make it look like it came from a trusted source. So I trust it, I hit the link, and I end up giving my information to somebody I really don't want to give my information to. And maybe by hitting that link, I release this malicious software that gets downloaded to my computer. Once again, something nasty to my computer might allow them to go in and steal information, or maybe some ransomware, that locks my computer up until I pay that rent. Download something to my computer. So we want to be careful. We want to make sure it really came from our bank before we do anything. Texting, smishing with text messages. Along the same line, what's been popular, with these fake text messages we get, what it was popular over the last couple holiday seasons are these text messages supposedly from FedEx, supposedly from UPS or the US Postal Service or Amazon or somewhere. Something was wrong with your last order. Something happened. We need all your information in, or our servers crashed. We lost your information. We need you to hit this link, go to this page, give us all your information again. And just like with the email, you think, oh my God, and you hit the link and you go and you give somebody information you don't want to give information to. And again, by hitting that link, you could be downloading something to your phone or your other computing device that you don't want to download. So we have to be careful. One thing we can do, so if we're not sure, and we think we may have gotten that email from our bank or that text message from that company, is maybe reach out to them by phone. And we don't want to use the phone number that could be in the email message or the text message, because we know where that phone number is going to go to. We want to reach out to them with a verified number to confirm this email, actually came from our bank or this government agency or somewhere else. A friend of mine, sends me an email, my buddy Joe, and he's got an attached Word document to it. Hey, George, how you doing? Hey, can you do me a favor? I wrote this letter to the electric company. Can you open it up, take a look at it, make sure everything looks okay? And I'm, okay, so I want to help my buddy Joe out. So I open up the attached Word document, the letter, and I look at it, not knowing that somebody hacked into my buddy Joe's email account, got his entire email contact list. Everybody got this email, and without knowing it, by opening up that attachment, I'm downloading something nasty to my computing device that I don't want to download. So we got to be careful. Confirm. If in doubt, if you didn't, I've got these text messages from FedEx. I didn't even use FedEx. Yeah, and I'm getting these text messages that a package that I didn't even, I didn't even get there, or Amazon. I mean, I don't purchase through Amazon. So I got a text message supposedly from Amazon. I just deleted it. I knew it was a scam. So just delete it. If in doubt, don't click it, delete it. Or reach out to them with a verified number to confirm before we do anything with them, before we send information or click any links. All right, fake websites. Two different ways they can fake a website and to get something from us. I'm on social media and I see this ad for Big John's Big Discounts, this new website, new retail site, never heard of. Big John's Big Discounts, every day, everything 50% off. Come to our site and shop, shop, shop. Oh my God, everybody's going to have a good holiday, have a good Christmas this year. George is going to go do some shopping. So I go to this new website, click the link, go to the website, and I find out when I get there that if I download the Big John's Big Discounts app to my phone or my computing device, I'm going to get a $200 credit towards my first order. Oh, hey, I'm downloading the app. Once again, not knowing that this is a fake. It was a fake website that was created. They lured people to it. This actually happened to me, by the way. Now, it wasn't Big John's Big Discounts, but something similar. I get lured to it. I give them all my personal information. And again, just like with the links and the attachments, by downloading that app, I could be downloading something nasty to my computer. Experts say more than 1/3 of these third-party apps that people download have malicious software attached to them. The ones we don't know about, the ones that we're not really sure of the company. Just like with the charities, we want to research these companies before we use them. Google the name of this new company before you go onto their website. And just like with the charities, after you Google the name, type in scams, complaints, or both, and see if anything comes up. Do some research. Check with the Better Business Bureau before you do anything. Ask around. We want to make sure these are legitimate companies, legitimate websites before we do anything with them. The other type of fake website is where they copy an actual website. Again, say I'm on social media and I see this ad for my favorite big box retailer, bigboxretailer.com. Today only, big sale today in electronics, everything 50% off. Hit the link and go to our site and shop, shop, shop. Oh my God. So I hit the link, I go to their site. Once again, I shop, I give them information, only to find out at a later point it was a fake website. But I go to their website all the time. I was at their site, the name, everything, just like with the emails, very easy to copy and paste and Photoshop things to make a fake website look like a legitimate website that we go to. How do we avoid it? In that situation, maybe rather than hitting a link to go to that website, we go directly to that website with the web address that we have that we can use. Maybe we can even reach out to them by phone. But with emails and websites, something else that we can do is something called the hovering technique. What you do is you take your arrow, everybody sees my arrow up top there, right? You take your arrow and you place it over top of the email address, or you place it over top of the web address. And when you do that, a box will pop up. Now, in the email address, it'll tell you where that email came from. In the web address, it'll tell you the site that you're on. In the box that pops up, it'll tell you where that email actually came from, or the website that you're actually on. And if it's anything different to what it says in the email address or the web address, you're on a different. You didn't get that email from that company. You didn't go to that company's website. You're at a different place, and we don't want to do anything with that. And what we have to watch out for are those minor subtle differences. I hover over the email address for my local bank, yourbank.com, customer service at yourbank.com. I hover over it, the box pops up, and in the box it says customer service at your-bank.com. That one difference, that one extra dash in the esse address is the difference from getting the email from the actual bank or from a different source. Same thing with the web address. I hover over, Big Box Retailer's web address, bigboxretailer.com. Box pops up, and in the box, box is spelled with a 0 rather than an O. That one slight subtle difference is the difference from, being on the website or being on a fake site. So that's what we want to look out for. But the hovering technique to find out whether they're real or not. All right, how to protect yourself from virtual scams. Research all new websites. Be cautious when being directed to sites through social media or email. When reviewing an email or text, check grammar and spelling. Confirm sender before clicking any links or attachments and downloading apps. And when in doubt, don't click it, delete it. How to avoid scams in general. Know how to spot imposters. Do not believe caller ID. They could spoof. There's this thing called spoofing. Unfortunately, I use caller ID, and caller ID says it is the IRS. Oh my God. So I pick it up, and yeah, this is ancient junk. People will hijack actual numbers, to make it look like you're actually getting a phone call from a trusted source. We got to be careful with caller ID. Be careful how you pay for your items. Talk to someone you trust. And if in doubt, if nothing else, you can reach out to us, Pennsylvania Department of Banking and Securities at 1-800-PA-BANKS. And if it's not ours to handle, we'll make sure to point you in the right direction. Other ways to protect yourself. Be aware of interactions with people you do not know. Guard your social security number and other personal information. Secure documents and shred them when you no longer need them. Watch your bank and credit card statements. Check your credit reports. Normally, we get one free credit report each year from the 3 main credit reporting bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Right now, at least up until I think through April of this year, which we're in April now, you can get one free report every week, and they might even extend that. Who knows? You can get, and they might have already extended it. Whether we do it once a week or once a year, we want to check our credit reports on a regular basis. One surefire way of knowing whether somebody has stolen our ID and is using it or not, because it should be showing up on those credit reports. I mentioned, about reaching out to doing or checking the credit report and all those things that are on there that aren't mine. And I'm not talking about the scam that we're, challenging things that are mine. We're talking about things on there that aren't ours. We need to do something about it. Oh, by the way, annualcreditreport.com. We do not endorse any other site. This is the one site mandated by the feds. It's the one site actually overseen by the 3 main credit reporting bureaus. There's others out there, these freebies that we see all the time. We don't recommend it, but I talk to people who use these other sites, and they're happy with them. If you're already using another site and you're happy with it, continue using it. The whole thing is to check that credit report once a year, because again, one surefire way of knowing whether somebody has stolen our ID and is using it against us or not. So what are we looking for? We're going to check each name, address, and telephone number. We're going to verify existing credit limits and balances. We're going to look for accounts that aren't ours. And so we do this, giving you a scenario. I gave you that scenario. 2 credit cards opened in my name. I know I didn't open that. Loan that was taken out of my name, the car that was purchased, all this going on over the last 2 months. I didn't do it. What do? I reach out. As I mentioned before, we reach out to those credit bureaus and we challenge it. They do an investigation. They take those things off our credit report and they investigate it to confirm that they weren't ours, that somebody else did it. And they might even be able to track down the person who did do it and catch them and bring them to justice, so to speak. So we're going to reach out to them and do that and make that report and challenge those things and get those taken off and have investigated. We're also going to reach out to them because through those credit bureaus, we're going to do a credit freeze on all of our accounts. It's easy and it's free to do. And we do a credit freeze on all of our accounts. That way, no new activity can take place while our accounts are frozen. Nobody can do anything with our accounts, not even us actually, until we unfreeze it. But that's okay, because we do that. No new activity can take place. We can now take a step back, take a deep breath, and follow through with everything else that we need to do to report identity theft. So what do we do, or what else do we do? Because in this scenario, we've already reached out to those credit bureaus. Federal Trade Commission says we should reach out to the companies where the compromise took place and work with their fraud department. Most companies have them nowadays. It's the day and age we live in. Work with their fraud department to clear our names of this, cancel any cards that are out there, close any accounts that are there, so on and so forth. We also want to file a police report. This official report from the local police department. We want to get a copy of the police report and the police report number. We want to keep that handy in case we need to show that to anybody later on. We also want to take notes or keep a notebook and keep those notes handy with that report in case we need to refer back to the notes as well. We report it to the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office. They may do an investigation, especially if this is it's a scam that's starting to become very rampant. And not only did we get taken by it or whatever other people, so we report it to them at 800-441-2555 or attorneygeneral.gov. We want to report it to the Federal Trade Commission at 877-ID-THEFT or identitytheft.gov. Through identitytheft.gov, we're going to report ID theft, and we're going to start a recovery plan. This is like a checkoff sheet for everything that we need to do for reporting identity theft and to start that recovery plan. Everything like a step-by-step process. And as we're doing that, we're creating another report that we want to get a copy of and keep that copy. Again, an official report from the Federal Trade Commission. That report, by the way, we report that back to the bureaus. That report, again, an official report, and that report alone should keep all those things that we took that we said weren't ours on our credit report permanently off by doing that report. We keep that report handy with the police report and our notes in case we need to refer back to that at any time. We have that information handy, whether it's next week or next year. All right, the Pennsylvania and nationwide do not call list. We get all these calls. It's recommended getting on these do not call lists. Do they stop all these calls? No, they don't. No, they don't. Talking to people, when to people that come up to me all the time, say I'm on the do not call list, and I still get these calls. What I have found out is by getting on, so you're still going to get the calls. First of all, scammers, right? What do scammers care? They're doing, oh, gee, this person's on the do not call list. I better not call them. I'm already doing something illegal. I'm going to call you anyway, whether you're on the do not call list or not. But what it does do is it does cut down. From what we found, it does cut down on the number of calls that you get. So it's still recommended to get on these do not call lists. All right, resources. Pennsylvania Department of Banking and Securities. Our agency regulates those industries in the Commonwealth. If anyone ever has a question, a problem, an issue as it relates to that, they can reach out to us. If I'm having an issue with my local bank that's not getting resolved, reach out to us. We'll help you resolve that issue. There's somebody in the next town that has this so-called great investment opportunity that I think is a scam, and a financial professional with the finger quotes, and I want to report them to us. I had my ID stolen. I don't know what to do. Reach out to us. We'll point you in the right direction. We have an in-house staff that will take phone calls Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. You call during those days and times, you should get a live voice answering the phone. If you don't get a live voice answering the phone, you leave a message. Somebody will get back to you within 24 business hours. Pennsylvania Attorney General's office, not only for reporting ID theft, but also a lot of good information on their website for consumers at attorneygeneral.gov. If I don't know how to contact my local police, I can go to local police department locator at policelocator.com/PA. Federal resources, Federal Trade Commission, ftc.gov. And if I want to report ID theft, I can go to ftc.gov/ID theft, or I can go directly to identitytheft.gov. Also, ftc.gov, the Federal Trade Commission's website, a lot of good information for consumers on their website. We didn't talk about the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, but again, another good source, another place with a lot of good information for consumers, including scams, frauds, identity theft. Check out consumerfinance.gov. And finally, the Internet Crime Complaint Center at IC3, number 3.gov.